By far, one of the most common questions I get asked when introducing TAISK for the first time is, how are you guys different to ChatGPT, or what do you do differently to Copilot? And the main difference is we are a specialist tool, not a generalist one. So the example I always give is, if you need a hernia operation, it's probably better to see a surgeon than a GP. But I think there's a better way of visualizing it than going to surgery. And that's with something called a Galton board. So a Galton board allows you to drop beads or balls through rows of pegs, like this. And each bead's path is unpredictable, but most will land in what I've called the ideal outcome, or the middle slots, with fewer on the edges. And so if we drop a whole bunch of beads, what we get is a bit of a bell curve, because the likelihood, or statistical likelihood, is that they're going to land in the middle. And large language models work in a similar probabilistic way. The AI's knowledge, how it's been trained, how it's been designed, is like like all these pegs, all these different parameters and layers. And a user's prompt, so the instruction you're giving it on something like ChatGPT, is like dropping these balls through. It goes bing, 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 and it lands somewhere. And so dropping it from the top, so and it lands in the bucket at the bottom. But the model's output is going to be determined by which bucket it lands in. I mean, this is highly simplified, of course, but I think it's quite a nice way to visualize it. And large language models, consequently, are incredibly knowledgeable, but if we drop enough balls, eventually it's going to hallucinate, and that's when a ball lands somewhere further away from the ideal outcome. So it's confidently returning false information. And that's because the model predicts statistically plausible continuations, but it doesn't have any inherent sense of truth. And so hallucinations are like bees occasionally veering off into these improbable, but still statistically probable, or possible, outliers or hallucination buckets on the side. And this is why I'm sure you've been annoyed by this. If you go on something like ChatGPT and you type in the same prompt every single day, you'll continuously get a different outcome, and every now and again you might get something totally bonkers, and that's because it's landing in one of these outliers. So how can we make a model, or a large language model, more reliable for specialized tasks like admin? How can we get them to work? And the key is fine-tuning, and that's basically training the base model on highly curated data sets relevant to the task. At TAISK, we fine-tuned a large language model on high quality admin data, 10 thousands or thousands of thousands, tens of thousands of different use cases for email, calendar, spreadsheets, documents, and databases. And this is like adding guide rails to our Galton board. And so what we're doing in that sense is we're constraining. So imagine like we've got two lines coming in here. We're constraining the bead's path. And this is basically specializing it. So the board makes hallucinations less likely, because we are determining that there are fewer opportunities for it to land these outlier buckets. And the result is an AI system that reliably handles admin tasks whilst minimizing irrelevance or these like false outputs that are super irritating. It's the only way we can make something specialist and reliable. And fine-tuning gives us that statistical probabilistic model, just enough of a push or like a control towards truth, so that we get the higher percentage of task completion. I mean, it's still likely every now and again to get one that lands, there we go, on the outside, but there's more chance that we're going to get more of them in the middle. So whilst these generous LLMs like ChatGPT and Copilot are amazing and they're super powerful tools, by applying guardrails to make it a specialist model through fine-tuning and other things that were built into it, it just unlocks the potential for a more trustworthy and for more specialist applications. And this is how TAISK built an AI that just excels at admin work. It's not great at everything. It's not trying to compete with Copilot or ChatGPT as a generalist model. It's just really, really good at doing admin. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's interesting. It's a little bit different as a vlog. I've got a bit of a cold, so I thought I'd just stay inside in a nice jumper and geek out a bit.